you. So I want to know, the members also would be enlightened to know, how can collaborative effort between MSMEs and larger corporates contribute to the mutual growth and success? So can you throw some light on this?
To begin with, good morning all.
Good morning.
And thank you for having me today. And great start to the day, very energetic, and it's not every day in the morning that I get a money plant. So I hope this is good luck. So the question was, how can MSMEs and enterprises collaborate? Correct. So if you look at whatever is happening at the global economy, even whatever is happening in India, you just said that MSMEs contribute to about 33% of the business that is happening in India, which is a huge wallet share. The Indian economy is set to grow. We have already displayed number 5 in the world. By 2030, we will surely breach the 10 trillion mark. Now, if I go to you, all you guys who raised your arm, if you guys are going to contribute 33% of that business, that's the size of opportunity that you are missing. Now we come to the collaboration part. I believe that there is need to coexist, to co-create, to cooperate, to bring solutions to India, to the society in general. How large enterprises are going to benefit from SMEs is large enterprises are huge. They have deep pockets, they have processes in place, they have people in place, they have technology in place, but they still look at agility. They would definitely want to partner with a very lean organization which can bring that speed, because today response time is very important in terms of any project or any plant implementation things that you are doing, which I believe the MSMEs definitely can bring to the table. How it is going to help the MSMEs? Of course, you can ride on the brand wagon of these large brands. It gives your customers great confidence. You can dive into the resources like capital is one thing, because that is a challenge which most of the MSMEs that we have today. You can dive into the resource pool of skill sets, processes, management initiatives that these large enterprises are taking, and then bring those solutions. So overall, I believe it is a very symbiotic kind of a relationship where both the parties involved, the larger enterprise and the smaller MSME, are going to benefit from these kind of relationships.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Ashish. If I have to take the same question to Shiva as well, so can we hear from you on this?
Good morning, everyone. I think I call him Venkat as Appu, and we have been playing cricket for almost 22 decades. What a wonderful opportunity to catch up with you guys, and let me be very humble here. I'm not any evangelist in this business. I just know podium mein mere ko bitha diya hai, but whatever I understand communication and marketing, I think so. Let me share a couple of insights. I think 90 seconds is the play which Venkat has given me. So first, in the collaborative effort between MSME and larger corporation, actually one motherhood statement is contribute to mutual growth of both of us. So, and how do you leverage the strength of MSME as well as the larger corporation? So there are strengths on both sides. How do you complement each other? So that's number one. Access to larger corporate resources. So larger corporation has larger pool, larger money, larger resources. How do you use this network's expertise, which can accelerate the MSME's growth trajectory? So that's one, how you can actually leverage larger corporate resources. Conversely, larger corporates also can benefit from the agility of an MSME, because smaller unit, innovation, agility, niche market understanding of MSME, which can help the larger corporation. So that's one more point. I think my colleague also spoke about how we can co-create innovative solution. When I say co-create innovative solution is, We in Times Network also have a lot of pain points, certain areas where we see success, where we see areas which can move up. There those briefs which we give to this MSME, the chances of a great co-created innovative solution can come from the MSME. So that's one. And of course efficiency in supply chain, tap into new products and markets. I'll give an example here. Long back I read some case study. There was one African company where there were a lot of things they were delivering into cement products. And each of the cement products, they had a huge competition among each of them. So this was in one of the Blue Ocean strategy as a book. So one of the African companies said, I will give the same product, same efficiency, XYZ. But उसने understand किया कि पूरा prism में cost is becoming a huge parameter because there are too many players. The margins were not pretty high. So he changed the rule of the game. So what he did was, उसने पूरा pricing was on only one thing, which he said, if somebody is winning me in 1 hour an X product, I'll give it 50 minutes or 45 minutes. On that 45 minutes, he charged the products and accordingly he grew. So he changed the rule of the game. He created his own innovative pricing as a strategy. So that was one example. And as I said, larger corporations like Times Network, we also have a pain point. So we use technology, we use sales operation, payrolls, XYZ various function. Which of them, which we get benefited from MSME. So that's
Changing the rule of the game is such an innovative idea. And Shiva, I would like to ask you another question. That so on this note, what would be your advice to MSMEs who are seeking to establish partnerships with corporates?
I think one is, I will put it myself as a hardcore seller many years back, attitude. I can go straight, ₹5 here, but I can straight away go out and do Mukesh Ambani's campaign and talk with the same confidence and guts. So, Singham says that, zero dekha mein to, so that's way, I think it's purely your own attitude, passion, how you get into that. So, no rocket science, I would say. As I said, I'm also not an evangelist in this business, but I think that's what my humble.
Super. And Ashish, if you have to answer the same question, what kind of advice you will have for the MSMEs who are seeking to do partnerships with the corporates?
Okay, so the bald guys are going first.
The focus
Okay, as we already discussed, what are the opportunities there for the MSMEs? See, MSMEs have to first find out the synergy and the objective of the association with the enterprise. That is very, very important, because if you not put it on a paper in terms of what is the objective, what is the value system that you are bringing to the enterprise, then it is going to be difficult to have a long-term relationship. Opportunities are going to be there, but you have to be very careful of the fact that you are going to be the last mile or the front face of a very large brand. So you are necessarily not, when you are collaborating, you are not only representing your company, but you are also representing the larger brand that you are associated for. So it's very important. It takes years and decades of hard work to create a brand, and you should utilize that in the right way. The other thing that I am saying is, you should, if it has to be effective relationship with a large enterprise who usually have everything in place, the processes are in place, the people are in place, you have the stakeholders. You should be able to identify and open right communication channels with the stakeholders, thus creating an environment of trust. If you manage to do these two things, communication and trust, I think businesses are going to be very simple. Last but not the least, you should be aware why you are part of the larger story. So flexibility, as we both said, that you have to be very lean, agile. Flexibility is something which you need to bring to the table, because that is the biggest problem statement of any large enterprises. They need a partner who is flexible and who can do things for them, quick decision making, quick output, quick results. That is something that that large enterprises would really love to partner with. So I think these are the three most important things which I feel that MSME should be doing.
I could gather some more here, which I've written it down. I think someone was here into cybersecurity. I think you give cybersecurity solutions also. So generally, IT companies, what they do is they do a fantastic research. So as an MSME, when you're approaching for a business or XYZ with a larger company, do fantastic research. Research might be your team might have, some guys might have great market intelligence of competition, great market intelligence of that particular company. Do an exact research, understand the pain points of the larger corporation, and then talk business. I'm sure you will have done. So that's one thing. Second, because of my marketing guy, build brand. Brand banao, naam banao, because that is where you charge a premium. If you charge a premium, that's an edge which you will get over it. Why we go to a Taj? The same tea is available bar cutting ka dukaan mein. You go to a Taj because of the stop value, because of your conversation. So build a brand. I think brand is pretty crucial there. Also, alignment of values. When you go and meet a larger corporation, sometimes you feel this is not cut for me. So let me give you an example in broadcast. I don't want to name. There might be a Disney, there might be another company. Okay, but there are processes. The way the MNC operates and Elala operates are completely different. Now the question is, do you want to align with Elala or do you want to align with an MNC? It's your call. Does it fit with your clear-cut values? Is what you, I think, one has to decide. So that's one. Also be future ready. I think one of our colleagues here spoke about the lift, I think. So he said he got a business of 4 crores. Imagine geometrically you want to go for 40 crores, 400 crores. How will you be future ready? Who are the talent which you need to pull in? And one more understanding, like people say the moment I say I work for Times Network, there is an eyebrow for Times Network. Build your company and build your brand in that manner where you attract the best of the talent, irrespective of what money you give. I think that's one crucial when you build up a brand. It will also sell your products easier. Also at the same time, it will attract talent of the best of resources. So that's one. And be future ready with respect to IT, with respect to AI, and scalability. So that's one more thing. And I think she spoke about build relationship, establish trust, credibility, healthy track record. I think one of the best example right now what Venki and company gave was empirical evidence. When I say empirical evidence is the colleague or the friend of ours spoke about his company, how he's got benefited. There's Khushbu spoke about how she has got benefited. Now this gives an empirical evidence that they have worked with Zeal and they have got benefit out of it. So can you give those empirical evidence to your clients and customers? They feel, hey man, I need to work with X, Y, Z individual. So that's the
Super. Lot of key takeaways. Let me take this to Anindya now. Anindya, being a managing director of a pharma company, what kind of advice would you have to offer to entrepreneurs who are actually navigating through the complexities to scale up their ventures? So what kind of advice it would be? Those who are looking to scale up their businesses and are struggling with the complexities.
Sure. Before proceeding, thanks to Jill and Jess and sort of to you as well. And I'm actually shivering because I'm seeing all of you as entrepreneurs. That means, coming from a typical employee perspective, you all are the employers. Right? I'm shivering speaking before you. But this is, I would say that this is a unique opportunity and it's a big privilege actually. And all of you, should take a bow and be proud of yourself. The statistics that we heard from sort of at the beginning, 30% contributing to the GDPs, right? Whoever is not today formally as a part of MSME, but tomorrow you will be part of it. The most important part of it is also like the focus, the job opportunity that you guys create. By 2025, I think there is a focus of adding another 5 crore jobs to the market. It's amazing. Be proud of yourself. And you investing a Saturday morning being an entrepreneur, I think you are on absolutely right track, right? You are still agile, you still intend to adapt to the ever-changing dynamics and the context. So you are on absolute right track. Now as a typical operations guy, what I would suggest, and I think what you have asked is, just, we come from certain social barriers as well. I'll give my example. I'm heading my family and I assume that I am the guy at house, at the table, wherever I step into. It's my responsibility and I should be, carving myself to that stature wherein I know everything. And I carry that particular image in my professional, wherever I work for. And when I enter into a boardroom or in a meeting, I start projecting myself as the guy who knows everything. I'm the best guy, right? And this projection is so harmful that my team, my colleagues, they start also reciprocating the same thing. That you are the guy, you know everything. So I have a problem, please solve it for me. Right? Delegation. Here comes a question of delegations, right? So I think first mental barrier that I had, 10 years back, maybe or 5 years, or sometimes even now, assuming myself an expert and not really trusting or having people on board who can do a better job. So today, with my maturity, what I understand is when I enter into a meeting, if I believe I'm the smartest guy in the room, it's my defect as a leader. So I need to develop people who are should be much more smarter than me. And my job is to look for those talent and develop them further. Right? And that's how I believe is some mental barrier we need to really work on. And here comes the beautiful opportunity of working with some other experiments. Right? I believe that's right.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. Anindya, that was wonderful. I mean, hiring someone who is smarter than you, that kind of mental barrier most of the small businesses have. Yep. So you have nailed it actually. Taking this to the fourth panelist, and as Ashish was saying, we started with the one who is bald, and now coming to the one who has left the most on his head. So yeah, we would like to have the similar advice from you for the entrepreneurs who are actually trying to scale up but are struggling with the complexity. So what you have to offer as an advice?
Yeah, first of all, good morning everyone. Actually, right face, like Anindam said, it's kind of a pressure to kind of give it back. I come from a product space, okay, and I'll try and explain. It could be challenging. This is something that I faced and kind of implementing. The first and foremost thing that I feel that a small organization or maybe the MSMEs, even at a certain level, that we need is to do a proper POC. What I mean by POC is a proof of concept of what we are doing. Right? Often it happens that we jump into creating a startup and probably get confused as to what is it that we need to do next. Right? So for me, the most important thing happens to be the proof of concept. So what I mean by proof of concept is probably from a product perspective, take a small area or a region where you could run through your product and see if it is working, right? Whether it is your customers or whether it is the stakeholders, if it is working, whether it is working for you. So this is the first step that is important. The second step is exploring what all verticals that you can place your products in. For example, we have somebody who's into beer, we've got somebody who's into atta. Now what happens here is, we probably would focus on maybe a couple of verticals where we can sell and may not be looking at the other verticals. Now this could be one of the barriers for scaling. So I feel to explore all those verticals where we could possibly place our products becomes very important. So that's the first step. The second step is creating a strategy. Now, this also is, especially when the proof of concept stage is over, creating a strategy means a roadmap that we create for ourselves, whether it is a short-term roadmap or it could be medium-term or a long-term. Why this is needed is we'll be able to manage or arrange for funds accordingly. Because often the biggest barrier that we all have in scaling, आइडियाज बहुत है हमारे पास, सारा पैसा नहीं है. Right? So this is very typical of the situation that we face. The third important thing that I can think of is human resources, manpower, our team. Again, MSME का challenge. आज एक सस्ते में आदमी ले लो यार, आदमी चाहिए हमको, right? And ये सस्ते वाला आदमी is often very too expensive for us in the long run.
True.
Right? Not only because he does not perform for a long period of time, he burdens a startup or a MSME, and he slows down our process of scaling. So very important that we have good team. I actually have everything I'm telling you. These fuck ups have been done by us. I'm sorry to use that word, but it actually hurts, right? So we have all started realizing that we need to have a proper team, and in the last 11 years of doing EcoSac and KachraSac, I've realized that you first of all need young team, ambitious team. These teams have to be micropreneurs within your organization. You don't want to be, as Anindya said, the know-all guy in the organization. You need these guys who bring in these values, the energy and the ambition to grow, and they are the ones who actually catapult us to the next level. Mix this with senior industry experts, either in the form of employees or maybe advisors, or of course the mentors that we have today. So now this mix becomes vital for us to grow. And last but not the least, how do we manage our finances? Baki sab to ho gaya, right? So it is very important that we manage our finances properly. And from my first venture, I can say that what we have always done was we pumped back the profit back into the business. Often ये होता है कि थोड़ा सा पैसा बन रहा है तो can we take it home, स्टेटस बढ़ाने के लिए गाड़ी ले लेंगे आज हम लोग, can we create some liabilities. ये करने के बजाय if we could focus on reinvesting the money that we have earned back into the business, this will become very important, and this will also fuel the growth faster. So otherwise the scaling up process is normally straining our resources. The second thing that I can actually think of is managing our expenses properly. Third is payment collection. I think we've touched upon that point, but still it is a challenge. It's still a challenge, whether it is the smaller organizations that you deal with or the larger ones. You don't get paid on time. 45 days is still something on paper, it does not come. So you got to kind of maneuver around this. And if we have the time sometime later in the day, I can also touch upon certain NBFCs that can help you to de-risk this and bring cash onto the business. So these are 3 or 4 points I think will be very helpful for us to scaling our business.
Excellent. And on the same note, if I have to share with you and ask you, so generally if you have to point out what are the common pitfalls or challenges that the entrepreneurs face to scale up basically. So where they fail usually?
Normally I would say we fail at the very early stage itself. And this is where we have not done proper research. This is something that was just discussed by Shiva as well. Market research नहीं करते हैं. So we are not very sure about the product market fit. क्या हम लोग कुछ market में जो लाने चाह रहे हैं, is this the right product? Entrepreneurs think कि मैं धंधा चालू करूँगा तो मैं entrepreneur हूँ, but there are now the next step. Scale कर पाएंगे कि नहीं? अगर हमको scale करना है, then it becomes again very important that we have done a proper market research. Product validation हमारा होना चाहिए. So that is the first step that I often think is something that we don't do purposefully. We get into the business or करते करते maybe we try doing that somewhere. Second important thing is have we kind of researched if this is scalable? Okay. Yeah, it is something that will probably do well for the next 1 or 2 years. But when it comes to scaling, हमारे पास वो can we reach all India? Can we reach global? Are we fit for all formats of our business or not? So we do not know. So market acceptance and there's one more thing that I'm probably missing. Understanding our competition. Mostly, I like to give one example, very interesting example here. Not estimating or understanding our competition. My son, about a couple of years back, he decides Bombay के अंदर drive-in cinema नहीं है, right? And then he says, Dad, I'm going to do that first one. तो मैंने बोला नहीं हम लोग बचपन में देख चुके, बोला नहीं वो फॉर्मेट अलग है, I'm going to do something different. I said ठीक है. So he starts doing something on his own, and the location that he identifies is BKC. मतलब भाई उन्हें बहुत जगह है उधर. And then he speaks to someone, लोग थोड़ा सा पैसा वैसा भी लेते हैं. So and suddenly he realizes शायद मेरे से नहीं बन पाएगा. He puts a lot of things in place, and something he feels कि शायद मेरे से भी नहीं हो पाएगा. And maybe a month or 2 months down the line, Jio announces कि हम लोग BKC में हैं. So now this is something tells us all that if we have not done our research properly, and if you've not understood what the other people around us are doing, and you can imagine, had this guy done anything more, invested more money, and then pitching against the likes of Jio, क्या हाल हो सकता है? So I cannot emphasize more on how much market research is important when it comes to this.
That's really a great takeaway. Anindya, I would like to hear on the same point. What are generally the pitfalls?
Sure. I think sometimes what I see is if I am involved into certain business cases, selling my ideas to my management, I'm putting it into my perspective. I get too much attached to it without thinking the bigger picture, what kind of value it is bringing into the system, right? Finally, it is what? It is about, from my industry, it is serving patients, right? What they really sick, what they really do care about. It's not about what I believe as a service provider, what I should bring to the market. So sometimes too much emotional attachment with my own idea make me a little blind about the market, about the needs, basically the customer focus orientation, right? So that's one of the mental block I believe we need to really and constantly struggle with. The other thing is, I believe sometimes I get a little bit lost between the plan and the strategy. What I believe as a strategy is sometimes, and majority of the times, turns out to be a plan, which means it's very short-term, mid-term things, and it is actually an execution thing. What strategy means is foreseeing what the future can be, and where I need to really focus in a long term. So this distinguish between the strategic plan and the real business plan, sometimes it is little cloudy on the grayer side. So that thought process clarity, that helps us to really what we call is fit for future. And it's not like, year on year adaptability. The way I get the demand and then I prepare my infrastructure, my team, my strategy, it is too short term view maybe. So we need to have some kind of infrastructure built. The moment we get something in the market sellable, gets the lead generated, the demands created. So the scalability part takes a little bit strain, I would say at times. I think that would be.
Thank you, Anand. Excellent. Very well said. There could be gap between your plans and the strategy. Very important to analyze that part. Now coming to the last part of the panel discussion, I would like to hear from each panelist on two things. One, how has mentorship helped in your own journey as a business leader? A. and how important is the mentorship for the entrepreneur? So if we could start with Shiva, we would like to hear on this from you.
So once again, I would say that I'm not an evangelist in the business, but whatever I could understand when I meet clients and brands, why mentoring is important is, I think we touched upon a couple of things. With years of experience, if one of our SME is drawing say 3 crores, from 3 crores if he has to become 30 crores, from 30 he has to become 300 crores. Now, there you get in baggage of experience. You have years of experience, but you also have baggage. Baggage in the sense, hey man, I know it all, which I think Anindyo brought it out. So one is, mentoring is crucial for entrepreneurs because it gives you a sounding board, it gives you good ideas, strategies, fresh perspectives, and guidance. So I think that's one very crucial. And if you really want to jump to this next level, which I always talk geometrical, when I say geometrical is 3 to 30, 30 to 300. If you have the vision, for that the excess of baggage has to go, this limited vision has to go, lack of scalability. These are 3 areas where absolutely mentoring comes in, which can help you. You need a trusted advisor, frankly, and who can share lessons from their own experiences, best practices across industries which they bring in, which help entrepreneurs to scale with clarity, confidence, and navigate uncertainties. So that's where a mentor comes in and helps. He also provides encouragement, accountability, safe space for reflection in terms of mentors, helps entrepreneurs refine their vision, identify their blind spots. He might not be a magician, but he can bring in that fresh perspective and give and identify those blind spots, develop skills. I think the major problem which I see also the pitfalls is because you have not built a brand of a company, you are not able to attract talent. If you are not able to attract talent, you will not be able to attract scalability. If you are unable to bring scalability, you will not be future ready. So bring the best of guys. In order to get the best of guys, I understand there are pitfalls in terms of finances, XYZ, but I think, so I'm mixing a couple of things. I'm mixing pitfalls, I'm talking why mentoring is important and how it can be useful for entrepreneurs. I'll just take a couple of things in my own personal life, how it has unknowingly, knowingly people have coached me. What has happened is, it has helped me in my planning, it has helped me in my implementation, it has implemented me in terms of my scalability, it has helped me in terms of my vision, it has also helped me in terms of my ideation, and also helped me with the leadership. So, and this leadership you can learn from each one of us. I think always have a point of view. I come very aggressively on my team, but they clearly know that they can clearly voice opinion in terms of Shiva, because Shiva घर पे कुछ लेके नहीं जाएगा, he will not have any baggage. Or even if I am wrong, I'll take a drink for them in the evening. I'll say sorry, मैं जरा नाराज हो गया. So these are things which you can build the team, give a point of view. Your point of view both important, especially MSME, because you move from 3 to 30, 30 to 300. You need this type of people who can actually revolt and say, hey, Shiva, sorry for the word FO, and say you're wrong. Does your team have anyone who has the ability to come and say, man, this is wrong? I clearly tell my MD, and he believes that out of all the books, he might call 15 guys on the board and he'll call me separately and say, Shiva, तेरे को क्या लगता है? I'll tell him the truth. And the truth, I can lose my job that day. And that is the truth which I know. So you have to attract such talent who can completely go against the MD and say, hey man, what you're doing is absolutely wrong. No. Do you have the guts to such talent to come and say that, hey man, you know, you're wrong, or this is right, or this is the path. If you give this sort of freedom in your company, mark my words, your company will prosper. So that's the result.
Super, very nice. Ashish, we would like to hear from you on the same aspect. I mean, how mentorship has helped you in your journey as a leader, and then how it is crucial for the entrepreneurs.
Mentorship has definitely helped. I don't think so. I think this becomes a rhetorical question. Of course, mentorship helps everyone. I would like to contribute all my success to whatever position I am today to two mentors. First one, whom I met in my early days, I was not very clear in terms of what I would want to do in life just out of college. I probably had a small idea in terms of where my career should go, and it was sales. Two reasons. कुछ स्किल सेट नहीं था, सिर्फ बात करना आता था and travel करना अच्छा लगता था. This was the reasons why I wanted to get into sales. Not, but then ठीक है. That's where when I got my first job as a sales executive. It was timeshare in those days. I do not know how many have been into timeshare. It was a very popular thing happening in Europe because of the recession happening there. But when I was doing this was back in 1992. Holiday was not a very popular part of annual calendar for Indians at that point of time. And then selling 25 years of holidays with that kind of money was very difficult. And then I started doubting. I wanted to get to sales. Is this the right platform, or should I get into something else? But then, in those early days, I was fortunate to have a mentor by my side who helped me navigate through these difficult things, who worked on my belief system. So most of the time, what a mentor has to do for his mentees is open up their belief system. Belief systems are the things which set roadblocks, obstacles for us, which stop us from dreaming big, and that was a big success there. So then I decided I had a foundation as a sales guy, and then later on in my second stint, again I was given the opportunity to grow as a leader, as a manager, first a mid-level manager and then a senior level manager. So whatever I am today, I definitely contribute this to my team. And this is my last decade as in an executive role. So the pledge that I have given to myself and my company and my colleagues is that I will continue to give it back to the society. What we feel that. As far as whether mentors are important for entrepreneurs, it's definitely important. Again, you need someone to give you a different perspective. I think mentors are usually people who have spent about 25, 30 years of their life doing successful things. Now, what happens is when you are in a training or whatever you learn in business schools is syllabus. You definitely can't get that 25, 30 years of experience in any business school. So having a mentor who has that kind of experience, you can dive into that knowledge base that he has accumulated over the number of years. The other thing that a mentor brings to the table is networking. I think networking in any business is important. Now, because of the sheer time that they have spent in the industry, obviously there are going to be various contacts whom they want to connect with and give you different perspectives in terms of where you want to take your business. They also help you in goal setting. Typically, everyone is hard work. Until you do not have an objective, until you do not have a why for the company, it is very difficult to be successful. So I think these are the guys who stay with you for a long period of time and help you achieve your dreams. First, make you dream and then help you achieve your dreams. And I think and it is necessary for people at all levels. I mean, I heard Vinay saying that after 18 years, I found a mentor. That happens in life. You definitely want something. I just remembered a story. Has anyone heard the story about John? Okay, so let me give you 2 minutes.
I heard the story of Paul John.
you hear stories after Paul John. so the thing is like that. It's a Monday morning and a mother is trying to wake up John. John, wake up, we want to go to school. And John is, no, I don't want to go to school today. All the kids make fun of me. It's really boring. I don't want. They call me fat. Again, after some time, the mom is, John, wake up, you're going to go to school. The teachers also talk bad things about me. Very demotivating, I don't want to go to school. This happens. Third time mom is back again. John, wake up, you're going to go to school. He's still saying, no mom, I don't want to go to school. And mom says, John, you're the principal of the school. You've got to go. So like that mother, you all need a mentor who's going to give you that wake up call and push your first. Thank you.
I would like to hear this from Anil as well. I mean, your take on this, Anil.
I'll again like to share my experience. In fact, my first venture was in 1990 when I was 22. And back then I used to be doing something called as electronics and telecommunication trainer kits. ठीक है, जो engineering college के lab में लगता है. Cut to 2013, I decide अभी अपने को eco-friendly थैला बेचने का in retail. So now you can imagine me not knowing nothing about retail, product, costing, ये वो सब कुछ. So very early in my life, I was very lucky to have two entrepreneurs, two mentors. The first one was the god of retail, as we call him, Mr. B.S. Nagesh. I don't know how many of you guys know him. Shopper Stop founder, जो थिएटर को अच्छा Shopper Stop बनाया था उन्होंने. So he was the first mentor. What he did, guided us through the retail journey, strategy क्या बनाना है, what is it that you can eventually see in this kind of business. Something that we just mentioned about helping you to network with the right kind of people in retail. Imagine how important it is. मेरे सारे customers या तो politicians है या engineering college owners है, which again politics doesn't matter, right? And cut to you're talking to the retailers here. Now retailers में छोटे वाले किराने की दुकान पे आ गए, and you have the large ones like the Shopper Stop, the Reliances, and so on and so forth. Now how do I kind of navigate that unknown journey जो हम लोग सब at some point in time we would have taken over and not knowing what we are getting into. So I was lucky to have him as one of the mentors. The second mentor, in fact he was a consultant but I still call him my mentor, that was one Mr. Jagdeep Kapoor, very popularly known as Brand Guru. Correct? Samsika. So what he essentially does is he helps you to take your product to the market. So एक थैला लेकर गया उनके पास, and I happen to know him also. So I take him this foldable shopping bag and say, we intend to replace single-use plastic. ये बेचने का है. He said, come after 1 week, मैं थोड़ा study कर. So when we go to him after a week, he said, this is a 100 crore idea. And back then, this 2013, right? 100 crore idea. Now what happens is, dimag khul gaya, and that is something that he always says, apna dimag kholo. Something that Shiva also mentioned. Unless you start looking at the larger picture, you are still fighting within that small domain, right? So every one of us need to open our dimag. So that was what he taught us. How to strategize a product, how to go to market. जो GTM हम लोग सुनते हैं. So how do you price your product? How do you appoint FMCG sales team? How do you manage them? Very difficult these days, right? And last but not the least, the various channels in which you could promote your brand. So हमने bus backs किए, auto rickshaw के पीछे साइकिल लगाया. We also did television ad. था कुछ नहीं हमारे पास, but Times Now में अर्नव गोस्वामी का show में we do like 20 seconds and all that. So the thing was we learned a lot of things. We did our mistakes also. Cut to very early in the this thing of selling a 1900 rupee का थैला जब भी मुफ्त का plastic bag बिक रहा है. Now you can imagine 2013 में doing something of that sort. So 2016 completely dejected. क्या करने का सर लग गए अपनी तो that kind of a thing, and now wanted to restart. So this is where the mentor played that important role. Was don't give up. 3 साल you have actually navigated or burnt yourself for 3 years. No, this is not the time to give up. Stay put. Okay, now this is where the mentor actually comes again. This is like a place where you are completely alone. Your parents don't know how to help you. Your friends don't know how to help you. दारू पीने को बैठ सकता है, but beyond that कुछ नहीं हो सकता है. Right? So now again you go back to your mentor. Tell him, sir, ये situation बन के पड़ा है. He says, don't worry, stay put. 2018, our PM announces single-use plastic ban. Now the same customers whom we have been reaching out since 2013 calling us, boss तेरे पास 99 का बैग अभी भी करता है क्या? मतलब this is an indication कि कहीं तो थक गया होगा. But so this is what the mentor brings on the table. And today we are available across about 12,000 retail outlets. So had we given up in 2016, we would have probably not seen this journey. Shiva also touched upon this point कि brand बनाने का है, right? Very early in the business, Mr. Kapoor says, ये तुम इतिहास रचेगा अगर इसको properly करेगा. And he used to tell us sales team also, बने रहो, market में जाते रहो, तुम लोग अगर इसमें रहोगे तो तुम लोग इतिहास रचोगे. So these are the words that kept resonating even after 11 years. It keeps resonating on this thing. And during the most difficult times, these are things that stick on to you and help you to take it to the next level. So this has been the contribution, at least as far as mentors are concerned in my life. I'm sure each of you would kind of will be able to relate to what your mentors would have played a role in your businesses. So I mean, otherwise the advantages of having mentors is already spelled out in detail. Thank you so much.
That's one fascinating question. So I would like Anindya, to conclude this panel discussion on the same question, that is, how mentorship has helped you and what you see, how important that is for the entrepreneurs.
Sure. I as an individual, I have been very lucky to be exposed to this kind of concept of mentor-mentee relationship since 2006-7. I worked for AkzoNobel and they had this kind of infrastructure. Then Johnson & Johnson and now in Ferring. Now what I understood is also read somewhere that life is too small for all of us to do all the mistakes by ourselves and learn out of it, right? It's too small, really. And this is where the mentor-mentee relationship really works, right? So as Vinay also said that we need a little bit of push, to be humble, to challenge our perspective, to bring new perspective, what we call as going out of our comfort zone to a fear zone, and then the growth zone starts, right? That's the circle, how it works. Now, a mentor always brought a kind of perspective which normally falls into our blind zone, which we are not really aware of. And there you can correlate that in terms of skill sets, in terms of knowledge, experience, and whatnot. And this mentor is someone who has multiple hats. Sometimes he or she acts as an SME, sometimes he or she will act as your guide, sometimes it's pulling you on above the line in terms of positive and negative mindsets that we call. We all go through this. So there he or she acts as a light of like a psychologist, right? Pulling you always above the line to stay, on the positive side, growth mindset, what we call. So that's where, the mentor plays a vital role. And the best part of it is the accountability still lies with me, as a mentee. And that's the beauty of it. I decide, right? I agree, I align that I need this. So by doing that, by virtue of that, I own everything out of it. Right? And that's the beauty here. I think that's what, I think it's fantastic experience.
Excellent. And your life is too small to do all mistakes yourself. What a brilliant way to look at this. Yeah. Please.
I of course mentioned about the mentors that have helped me. Now with all these mistakes that you do, doing everything on your own, I have a couple of friends whom I mentor, especially in the product space. right? Now this is the same thing that is happening. Now, all those mistakes that I have done, they are also doing, right? सब कुछ करने का धंधे में. आज के दिन में ये भी करना है, वो भी करना है, वो भी करना है. So now where I found myself adding value to them was to tell them what not to do. Because we all know क्या क्या करने का है.
Correct.
Okay, so now this is basically, as you rightly said, it prevents you from making those mistakes which can cost you in terms of time,
Absolutely.
right? So I think this is a very valuable thing that a mentor can bring on the table.
Wonderful. So we come to the conclusion of this panel discussion, and as we know, time is pressing. So, जैसे Anindya said, we can't do all mistakes in our single life. So in a single session, everything can be learned. So we had to skip the quick Q&A for the sake of time that is always pressing on us. So I would like to offer sincere and heartiest thanks, vote of thanks to all the panelists, and they have enlightened us on different aspects. They come from different walk of industry, different side of the table probably, but they have added immense value in terms of what takeaways we can have from the room in last 45 minutes. For that effort, let's give them big round of applause. Maybe we can give them a standing ovation. Wonderful effort. Thank you so